Hi, everyone. I'm Soyoung. I'm one of the co-founders of TwelveLabs, where I lead our go-to-market efforts. Today, I'm just going to talk about video. And video is interesting because it's often a forgotten data format when it comes to how we understand, utilize, and analyze. But I don't think anyone here can reject the idea of we use video every day. It's how we communicate. It's how we, tell stories. It's how we record our lives now. It's how we work together. And so 12 Labs as a company, we were founded I think 4.5 years ago. And we started thinking about what can be done to be able to contextually comprehend videos at scale that allows us to better utilize all of the knowledge, insight, and stories that live inside video. So we'll go into that. Very simple, video dominates the way that we live today. It's 90% of all the data in the world. It's going to increase. And just as an example, here are some of the industries where video is so important. Video-centric applications, video-centric workflows. Of course, media, sports, entertainment is a really big place where the most valuable stories that we love to watch, that we love to share, are captured and created. Advertising, also told in video, is incredibly powerful. We look at creator economy, law enforcement, how do we stay safe, be able to manage evidence, do investigations, healthcare, automotive, enterprise knowledge, all in the form of video. But here's the problem, which was even if we know that video is powerful, the technologies to be able to understand video used to rely on frame understanding. So if we assume maybe a video might have every second, maybe let's assume 24 to 30 frames, you're extracting a frame and you're analyzing what objects are in a frame. Sometimes we can even do, because speech recognition is very commoditized, we can even extract transcripts from video and analyze the dialogue and analyze the language part of video. But neither is fully sufficient, because if you think about the way we see, hear, and understand the world, it's actually temporal, right? We see things that are changing, moving. We hear sounds that are not necessarily in language form. If I clap, that's a sound. If I say something, that's also dialogue, but also sound. So how do you combine all of these things, put it in the context of time, and be able to, almost like a human, contextually comprehend what is happening inside video so that we're able to use the context? So we can simply, very easily search for things and scenes and moments in video. We can ask questions of what's happening inside and almost be able to communicate and freely use all of that context that is available to us because we're storing a lot of it. Here's also another challenge. When we had started the company at the time, LLMs were still very nascent, but even LLMs at the time, and even today, they can't see the whole picture. Language is very different as a data format from video. If you think about the way that words are spoken or said, every word has a meaning. There's a reason why we say each word. Video is very redundant in nature, and it's multimodal. Right? It has all of these different inputs, and you have to combine them together and understand everything temporally. And so traditional ways of analyzing video, we talked about frame-based computer vision, there's analyzing speech, but actually what we found is that most customers, most enterprises that are video-centric, a lot of the ways that as consumers we find video for ourselves is manual. So you actually go back to footage, and as you're watching it, you take notes, you tag it. And a lot of organizations actually store spreadsheets of tags. Oftentimes, they're video file-based tags. You're not even getting in-scene, in-video, temporal context. You're usually you're taking notes on what's happening, and that's really what you're searching through years later when you're needing to better utilize those assets. I'll walk through some examples of a case study later on what that means. And so if we were to describe things that we need to find, let's say you're a sports organization, you're a sports team, and you're trying to find when there's a touchdown happening. Maybe there's a crowd, the fans applauding. Maybe there's a really cool logo in the background while something really exciting is happening during a game. How do you actually describe and find that exact segment so that you can create a highlight from it? or so that you can show it to fans. And the same problem and challenge exists for every organization that has video, whether you're trying to go through petabytes of evidence to be able to do an investigation or write reports, whether you're trying to create and repurpose content from older shows. It's all the same problem of how do you understand footage at scale. In traditional ways of tags, you would not be able to do this. You would not be able to describe something you're looking for and be able to find it exactly when you need to. There is no Control F for video. And so the technology that TwelveLabs builds is multimodal video understanding. We build foundation models that allow you to do semantic search and retrieval across vast amounts of multimodal data, in this case video. You also are able to communicate and converse with video. So this is an example of a query that you could search that you can run, receiver catches deep ball for touchdown. And it would go across all of those moments that you have and pinpoint that exact scene. You could also, because the AI has created a memory of all of the footage, all of the videos that you have, you're also able to reason with it. So you can ask, describe what happens in this clip. What's funny about this video? Why would an audience find it interesting? Create a highlight from it and be able to extract intelligent responses from it based on the AI's understanding of your content. This is a way of, so this is an overview of how a video foundation model will work. In the case of TwelveLabs, we have two models. We have our Marengo model. And think of Marengo as a way of creating this first memory of video. So the AI will see, hear, and kind of understand, and almost create this memory. And we store these in the form of vector embeddings, and create vector embeddings that capture all of the context of video. And this memory, these embeddings, allow you to very easily search and find exact moments across your library. Then we have our second model, which is called Pegasus. We like to name our models after horses. In this case, it's a fictionary horse. But Pegasus allows you to then reason on top of the memory that Marengo has created. And so these two work together to enable a holistic set of use cases, whatever type of use case you have for your video. So one of the industries where video is super powerful, as we know, is where content is created and stored. Media and entertainment, advertising, and how we tell stories. This is, I believe, also being captured in video. So let's take a few examples of overall processes of content management. So one, when you're creating content, when you're going from raw footage to a story that can be told to many, that's actually in some ways, it's a search problem. You have a narrative in your mind as a creative. How do you actually go across all of the raw footage you have, extract all of the moments that are relevant, and be able to put them together so that you can very quickly iterate on different stories and be able to put that together? And that's a problem that not only individual creators would have, but also the largest organizations and the largest production houses would have too. Distribution. When we get recommended content from platforms, are they actually personalized? Is it actually understanding what I like to watch? Because what I said I like to watch when I signed up for something could be very different from my actual behavior. And so recommending being able to help me as a user discover content that's more relevant to myself, that I actually enjoy watching. All of these are recommendation and discovery that can be powered through enhanced content understanding. I think a lot of us are probably finding shorter form content on social media that we're spending a lot of time scrolling through. I know I am. Content repackaging and monetization. How do you actually repurpose all of these incredible stories that have been created in the past into more digestible and consumable format that is more personal? And because you can do this at scale, it becomes a more personalized way for me to consume as a viewer. These are all challenges that we find, challenges or opportunity, as you can call it opportunity, that our customers have, that enhanced contextual intelligent video understanding is able to help with. And so for TwelveLabs, we build the AI that can understand video, and we provide the technology in forms of APIs that allow our customers and partners to be able to build on top of the technology that we have. So really quickly, I'm going to go through an example of a customer case study. So Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment is one of the largest sports entities in Canada. If anyone's here from Canada, they have the NBA team, Toronto Raptors, Maple Leafs, which is an NHL team. And just like many other media organizations, the challenge is after every game, and there's also a huge historical archive there as well, how do you actually access the footage that you own, the assets you own and have, so that you can very quickly put together stories for fans? And the demand for content is just exponentially growing, and fans want to see something that's more personalized to them. And that means you have to find a way to be able to scale the way you access your own footage library and to be able to piece these stories together so that you can distribute them in a more personalized manner. And so in the case of Maple Leaf Sports, they actually did something incredibly cool, which is take video understanding technology and build an agentic workflow that can do prompt-based highlight creation. So if I wanted to create a highlight around Vince Carter's 30th anniversary, I could actually, as a creative in a meeting room with all of our marketing team, I could actually just type in a prompt or describe things that I have ideas of in my head. And instead of everyone leaving the meeting and coming back a week later, we could actually visually see what those highlights look like in real time as we're talking about it. And so the time it takes to create highlights in sports content could take up from 16 hours to days. And now you're cutting that down to 9 minutes. And that's not just an efficiency. It's about how do we do more as an organization. And it's an incredibly innovative use case where we saw last year one of the first use cases of true agentic workflows built on top of video understanding that actually allows you to scale as an organization and to grow the way that you tell stories. And it's something that we're seeing increasingly more of from not just sports organizations, but from it could be content creators, more established legacy media and studios as well. I'm going to walk through around time, but here's a quick example of said technology. And so when you describe things that you're trying to look for, whether you're in a part of an organization or a partner, you'd be able to find that exact second or moment. And in this case, now we're taking the memory that the AI has created, and we're reasoning on top of it. We're asking to create hashtags, descriptions. You can go as far as to say, let's create highlights and chapters for me, and ask very specific questions about the footage you have. Yeah, I'm gonna skip over the rest. Yeah. And TwelveLabs is a horizontal platform, meaning the video as a foundation model, the AI can comprehend any type of footage, whether it's animation, could be sports, could be your dashcam footage. In this case, I'm going to just wrap up the case study on Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment and why it's so exciting. One is, of course, time savings and efficiency. How do you take the best talent you have, the creative talent you have, and be able to save their time and be able to do things more efficiently? But the more exciting thing is how do you do more of that? And so how do you build an engine that optimizes itself? How do you build a creative engine that you can actually scale engagement with fans? And third is, of course, personalization. How do you create things that really resonate with specific audiences? And it's really the content machine, the engine that helps you do that. So yeah, that was a little bit about video understanding and TwelveLabs. Hope that was interesting. Thank you.
Now joining Soyoung on stage, please welcome back moderator Zoya Hasan.
City sleeps a lullaby, concrete dreams are passing by.
Back.
thank you so much for that presentation. You must be tired of all the talking. Please drink your water. It's really fascinating stuff, you know, especially like as someone non-technical at all. Like it's really just fascinating all the things you can do with AI that I couldn't ever imagine. But I want to, you know, humanize the technology a little bit more and talk more about TwelveLabs and your story. So can you tell me a little bit about when you guys were founding this company, between 24 and 26 years old, all you co-founders? Yeah. I want to hear a little bit about the founding days and what it took for you guys to get to where you are, the nitty-gritty details.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 5 co-founders. I'm on the business development and the go-to-market side, but my co-founders actually met working together as researchers and scientists, building AI to be able to understand vast amounts of data from language, image. They couldn't quite tackle video because there was no technology for video understanding at the time. So that's really where the idea came from. I met our CEO and my co-founder and CEO, Jay, in high school. So we met in the 9th grade in boarding school, and we bonded. And so before we started, like, I think all of us have been doing this for more than half of our adult lives now, but we were incredibly good friends. We trusted each other, both in terms of what they could do, the potential, but also as humans as well.
Yeah. Are you guys still good friends?
We're all good friends.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. TwelveLabs has raised over $100 million. Was that challenging at all, especially in the early rounds?
Yeah. So as a startup, when we had first started, it was, I think, 2020, we started building the tech. We officially incorporated in 2021. And when we had started, LLMs were super nascent at the time, too. I don't know if GPT-3 was out yet. And so the concept of, hey, we want to build general purpose foundation models, they are multimodal, and multimodal means AI can understand sound, visual, and video. And we want to build APIs that allows any developer or enterprise to access capabilities of these models. Sounded ridiculous to investors. And so I remember, like, we weren't even talking to investors at the time because we had a very strong conviction of what we wanted to do and why, which was we just want to build models that, you know, anyone can build on top of. And this was meant to be general purpose, but that's typically not the advice that startup founders get. Startup founders get the advice of, hey, find a very narrow problem, build an application, completely verticalize first, and then expand. But AI is very different today. AI has, you know, to build infrastructural technology, a lot of it has to be horizontal. Mm-hmm. And so our first ever investor was Index Ventures, actually. And the way we got their attention was our CTO at the time was getting a lot of Aiden. He's Forbes 30 under 30, by the way. I didn't qualify anymore, but so Aiden, we got a lot of questions around, hey, you guys are like these young founders in their 20s, and you're like 12 people. We were 12 people at the time. 12 people, cool stuff. But I'm sure every other hyperscaler, Microsoft, et cetera, are trying to do exactly what you're trying to do, and they have unlimited resources. And so at the time, our CTO wanted to prove something, right? So we had $50K in compute credits from AWS that they give to startup founders. And so he made a really big bet. And it was a gamble for us at the time. We had no funding. So he took $50K in startup credit, spent it all on training the baby version of what our models are today. And that was Marengo at the time. And built an AI that could search, retrieve from video. And he entered the ICCV Value Challenge, which is one of the most prestigious conferences and competitions in the AI, like, video space, hosted by Microsoft. So you're essentially competing against Microsoft's state-of-the-art model, and won first place. And that's how our first investors, who had a strong thesis around the future of multimodal technology, that's how we first got connected. And then we also got to meet Dr. Fei Li, and she also became an investor and advisor to the company. And yeah.
Incredible. What about landing your first customer? How did you pitch them?
Yeah, so video is really if you think about it, it's ubiquitous. It's in every industry. And so if you're trying to land your first customer, it means that's exciting, but it's also really challenging because it means anyone could be your customer. So we knocked on many, many doors. I can't mention this by name, but one of our very first customer, we went to a conference just to meet him and grab him as he was walking off the stage from a panel. And he was managing all of the content for one of the largest sports leagues in the world. He was actually presenting, coincidentally, about the challenge of tagging, managing tags, and having this huge organization be able to tap into all of the archives of video assets they have and how inefficient or challenging that was. And we had all of their, we found videos from their organization on YouTube. We made a customized demo for him. As he was coming off of stage, we grabbed him, did a demo for him on our iPad. And we were super lucky. We did many of these types of things, but when you find the right person at the right organization with the right problem, they will understand that you're really early as a company and as a product. And actually, we signed our first POC with him for $5,000. And really, the $5,000 was to, to make sure we can actually go through a legal process. But what we were doing was we were learning. And we learned so much from him around the processes of media management and kind of use them as a design partner to be able to build our product and technology around them. And kind of we were, at the same time, we're exploring all of these other potential customers around how do we, is this applicable to other prospects in the larger market? But if you can do that while you're working with, the first few customers who really believe in you, not just because of what you have now, but because of the future of what you're trying to create, then it becomes an incredible partnership. And we still work with them today, and they're at different organizations now. But they bring you with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I heard from that, guys, is that if you would like to grab her as she's walking on stage and pitch her your product, she's open to it. What should this crowd know about building an AI? Especially, what's the opportunity for small startups to be really successful when there's such big players in the AI world that are dominating, whether that's OpenAI, that's Anthropic, they dominate the scene, but startups are obviously necessary. And that might be collaboration and not competition, right? So any thoughts on that?
You have to really understand, I think, your problem space really, really well. If you think about hyperscalers and how large companies work, they have so many products. And sometimes even within their organizations, you might have a lot of silos. And for startups, the biggest strength that we have and we protect and we need to grow as we grow as a company is how do you minimize and shorten the communication cycle between what you're learning from market and how that gets back into product and be able to create the flywheel. And if we're talking about AI, that would be a flywheel between how do you go from market to product, to data, to research, and back again. And video is interesting because video isn't just about the model, it's also about everything that has to do with processing video at scale really efficiently. And so for us, that was a huge moat that we had, the speed, the focus, the prioritization. And that's something that large companies simply cannot do. And if you've raised money as founders, then you're spending all of that capital on solving this one problem. No other organization is going to invest everything they have into solving that single problem. So I think it's being able to really vocalize what problem you're solving really well and just go after that specific thing, because really that becomes your strength.
No, that's really great advice. My last question for you, and arguably the most important one. Why is there an TwelveLabs and a TwelveLabs, and who came first?
TwelveLabs came first.
Okay.
Almost, I think, a year. But we know the TwelveLabs folks really well. Actually, a couple years ago, there was a something that started on Twitter. Same question, we get this all the time. And so we did a hackathon at Shack 15 in SF called 23Labs. We called it the 23Labs Multimodal AI Hackathon. We're actually doing another one in a couple weeks in New York. This one's going to be focused on advertising and like multimodal AI to power like advertising technology. But yeah.
Okay, amazing. I know we got some audience questions, but we're unfortunately out of time. Are you open to, people asking you questions when you're out in the crowd later?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, catch her then, guys. Thank you so much, Soyoung.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.